You probably understand by now that all music streaming platform payouts suck, right?
Sure.
But some, of course, suck more than others. So today we're going to rank them and we're going to figure out who pays you the least per stream. But more important than that, we're going to talk about why you should understand these numbers and what any of that has to do with you making more money from your music. This is music streaming payouts ranked from best to worst. Let's get into it. Hey, what's up and welcome to Scratch Track. Scratch Track is brought to you this week and every week by Demo, the place to be if you are a busy artist with lots of adult responsibilities in your life. You have limitless passion for your music, but limited time each day to put into things like promoting your music. So you got to make those minutes count. At Demo, we work with artists to help you build a better promotion system without having to chase trends and burn out and go broke. Over the weekend, a bandmate of mine was talking about the distinction between Spotify payouts and Apple Music payouts and what that might mean for how he talks about streaming platforms to his audience, whether he should really be trying to, divert people from one platform to another. We discussed how hard it is to change listeners' habits, their consumption habits, and how we could use this understanding to maybe find a better strategy for his music. I also had yet another friend call me last week asking if they should remove their music from Spotify, how to do it, what to think about. Of course, we have an episode all about that. I'll put the link in the show notes. But basically, I'm saying all this because I have streaming money on the brain again. And I'm leaning on some of the research by my business partner, Erica Parr, who is heading up Demo's efforts in Portuguese and Spanish-speaking markets. And last week, she published an article that ranked all the streaming platforms. So I'm kind of leaning on her for the research she did to get those numbers. So let's talk about it. How much does Apple Music and Spotify and Amazon Music and YouTube Music and Pandora, how much do these platforms really pay per stream? Well, let's clarify. They actually don't pay per stream in the way you might think. What they actually do is take all the money they make and put it in this big pool. And of course, they take out a portion for themselves for profit and operating costs. And what's left can get divvied up in two different ways. One is called the Pro-Rata way, or the market share way, or the stream share way. That is where the rights holders, the songwriters, publishers, labels, or artists, if you own and release your own music, get paid a percentage of that revenue pool based on how many streams they had that month in direct proportion to how many streams happened on the platform at all. The second method is called the user-centric model, and that's where an individual subscriber's money gets taken. Of course, the platform takes its cut, and then the rest is given out to artists based on only who that subscriber listened to. So with the pro-rata model, if Taylor Swift had 10% of all streams on Spotify, she gets 10% of the revenue pool. If a subscriber to the user-centric model pays, let's say $10, $3 goes to the platform, there's $7 left over. If Taylor Swift is all of what that person listened to that month, she gets all $7. Now, where does the money come from? Well, it comes from subscribers and ad revenue. For premium subscribers, the music they listen to often earns more per stream. For the ad-supported listening, the free listeners, often the music they listen to earns less money. In addition to that, there are a couple other factors that can alter the payout rates. There's the geography of the listener, the user type, as I mentioned, whether they're free or premium. There's the context. Is it on-demand listening? Did they choose to listen to that? Or are they just on Spotify radio taking whatever's served to them? Are they still in their free trial period? All those things can impact the payout rate. And of course, there's just all your own agreements. Like, do you have a label? Do you have co-writers that you have to split the royalties with? Do you have a producer who's getting points? Like, obviously, all those things will impact how much you get paid. And so does the agreement that these platforms have with your distributor or your label, and whether those distributors are taking a percentage. Also factor in the idea that subscriber numbers can go up and down month to month. The overall volume of streams on any given platform can go up and down month to month. There's a lot of kind of moving pieces here, and these numbers are not exact. I'm not a journalist, I'm not a mathematician, I'm not a lawyer. So just take these numbers as kind of a general guidepost. They could change in a month, they could change next year. We're trying to just get after the directional truth here. And with those caveats aside, let's rank them. Of the dominant music streaming platforms, who is the number one spot? Who pays the best? Napster. Yes, that's right. The much maligned revolutionary platform that really kicked off an age of piracy and music devaluation is actually valuing music the most right now. Weird how things change. Again, with the caveat aside that there is no per stream rate, their average per stream payout is about 2 cents, and they have 3 million monthly users. The silver medal goes to a platform you might not have even heard of before, Qobuz. Their average payout is almost 2 cents per stream. High-res audio, which is great, but they only have about 1 million users. The bronze medal in third place goes to Tidal. Slightly more than a penny per stream. They offer hi-fi audio and they have 5 million users. All right, now we're getting into the middle tier of streaming platforms that have way more users, but pay slightly less. Number 4 on the list is Apple Music. Paying roughly twice what Spotify pays, it's 0.7 of a penny to about a penny per stream. And they have 94 million users. In the 5th spot behind Apple Music is Amazon Music. Now this is a little complicated because they have premium and free tiers. The premium tier usually pays about 0.5 penny per stream, and the free tier is quite a bit less than that. Altogether, there are 80 million users. And of course, the integration with Alexa is pretty convenient. After Amazon Music is in 6th place, Spotify. 0.3 of a penny to about 0.5 penny per stream, but they have almost 700 million users worldwide. And of course, as we've discussed in the past, one of the most robust and effective music discovery ecosystems ever built. At number 7 behind Spotify is SoundCloud. Yes, if you don't know, SoundCloud is a place to do more than just park your demos. They have very active communities around niche genres and an on-demand streaming service. They pay slightly less than Spotify. They have about 140 million users, but they also have done a lot of experimentation with the user-centric model that I mentioned earlier. All right, another service that has experimented with user-centric payment models in 8th place is Deezer. And they have 18 million users, although their payouts are quite low. Behind Deezer, paying $0.001 per stream, Pandora. You probably know this already. Pandora is focused on the US. It has 40 million users. Some of them are paid subscribers. But of course, there's also the ad-supported radio model. Behind Pandora, in 10th place, YouTube Music. Now this is YouTube's premium subscription music service. They pay between $0.001 and $0.002 per stream and have 125 million subscribers. And in last place, behind YouTube Music, is just plain old YouTube, by which I mean the world of Content ID and ad-supported listening. These payments are highly variable based on, did the person watch the whole ad? What kind of ad was it? What was happening in the ad auction? All that sort of stuff. But the most commonly quoted figure is $0.0007 per stream. Of course, the flip side is that YouTube has enormous reach. They have something like 2.4 billion free users. So some quick takeaways. Obviously, the highest payers were Napster, Qobuz, and Tidal. And they have great payout rates, but good luck finding any of their users. Globally, you could take all of their subscribers, and I think it's less people than live in New York City. It seems like the best sort of balance between reach and payment is Apple Music. And of course, lesser payment, but massive reach comes with Spotify and YouTube. But here's the bottom line about these payments. They all kind of suck. And if you're making serious streaming money already, it's because you're racking up serious streams. It's not because you're directing all your marketing efforts to one platform over another. And it's not because one platform has a wildly more generous per stream payout. And the possibility of discovery isn't nothing. I mean, like if you had, let's say, 1 million streams on Spotify, that might be up to about $3,000. That same amount of streams on Apple Music might get you something more like $8,000. But if you generate that volume of streams, it's likely to trigger the algorithm and get a lot more recommendation going within Spotify's ecosystem than Apple Music. That's going to drive more streams, more fans, and more opportunities to make money from those fans at concerts and selling them merch and stuff that actually makes a real difference. So greater visibility is actually a kind of value, even if it's not being returned to you immediately as a royalty. So now we've seen they really all suck. Some suck more than others. The lesson I really want you to take from this is that no, you shouldn't ignore streaming. I mean, it's great, as I've said, as a top of funnel engine for music discovery, convenience for your existing fans, even more convenient for people who just want to take a chance on your music and hear it, but they don't know if they like you or not. That's an extremely useful thing. It's a good reason to keep your music on streaming. You don't want to ignore it entirely. But really, for musicians who are kind of under the radar, I think my general advice is just to kind of forget about the money. And you might think, wait, isn't that giving up? Isn't that just letting these platforms like Spotify continue to tell us we don't matter because they don't pay us anything? I don't think so. My take is that unless you're pulling huge streaming numbers already, it's Spotify that doesn't matter to you, because Spotify isn't the heart of your music career. No digital music streaming service really should be the heart of your music career. And you can be profitable without streaming at all. How? Well, if you've been listening to this podcast, this isn't a secret. This is going to be a bit of a review. But instead of focusing on streaming or even algorithmic social platforms, your priority should be playing incredible shows, continually building your email list with an irresistible lead magnet. And if you want some ideas for good lead magnets for musicians, link in the show notes. Nurturing your fan relationships with consistent and compelling emails. Again, link in the show notes if you want some concepts to draw upon for inspiration for good emails. Using email or any attention you do get on social or streaming to drive people to your web store, to your website. And when they're there, offering them cool experiences, reasons to stick around, and great things to buy, whether it's merch or VIP experiences or concert tickets, memberships. If you want to be in the music business, well, businesses sell things. So talk to your fans and sell them stuff. It's all that not streaming, not Spotify, not even Qobuz and Napster that are the stuff of your music career. If you think of your music career as kind of a house party that you're throwing, streaming can really just be the welcome sign above the front door. And while streaming has been revolutionary for the music industry at large, it drives huge revenue for the music business. I'll just take this opportunity again to remind you that what is good for the music industry is often very different from what's good for you, an individual artist. If you've got monthly streaming counts in the thousands or the hundreds or the dozens, then whether you earn a fraction of a penny or a full cent per stream or even 2 cents per stream, we're talking about peanuts either way. For example, I once had a 50-50 collab track that got a couple million streams, and my half of that money, it wouldn't even cover 1 month's rent. Now, if I was generating that amount of streams every month, month over month, yeah, maybe that's the point where I start directing my fans towards Apple Music or Napster or something above Spotify. But even then, I have to kind of realize it's a bit of a fool's errand to try to shift my fans' behavior to a different platform if they're already subscribed, they're already kind of addicted and comfortable with one particular app that's already on their phone, and they already have a decade or more of built-up playlists. It's really difficult to get them to shift to an alternative streaming platform. But it's not a big ask to get them to shift their mindset towards some other form of supporting you, by which I mean all the things I mentioned earlier, getting on your list, staying in touch with you, buying your merch, coming to your shows, all that stuff that's way more personal and way more rewarding for both of you, the artist and the fan. So no, don't ignore streaming. When fans have the convenience to listen to you on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever they already are, but you also give them lots of opportunities to come closer to you as an artist, well, you'll be forming a lifelong connection with fans who will stick around long after any algorithm stopped paying attention.